They knew who they're looking for. And when they prepared the gifts, they knew who they are giving this to. These gifts were supposed to be for a king. That's why we can call those gifts royal gifts. Although they are categorized as valuable because there are value in them, but their value is extremely high. Do you know that when you come to church, you are valuable in the sight of God?
Amen.
And you are precious, valuable than those who come to Andre Bocelli's gathering. You know, the ticket, my daughter. I was only able to go because of my generous daughter. She purchased 2 tickets, like 450 each. Almost 1,000. Including parking space, that's almost $1,000. That's a valuable gift. Can't afford. But those gifts, although they are valuable, they cannot compare to the gift of God that night. And compared to the gifts of the kings, those are gifts fit or appropriate for the king. And that's why, what can we give in return? When we come here, you know that it's one of the definitions of the gift is that it's something given voluntarily. So your coming here is a kind of gift to God. Because God did not twist your arm to show up here. You came here to give your time. You own that time, but you choose to give it to God. You own that voice, but you choose to sing it for God. You own that mind, but you choose to shut out everything and focus to God. That is a gift. And so, and of course, aside from that one, later on, Brother Fidel will pass. That's another thing. But everything we give to God is a gift. The only question is it a gift worthy for a king? That's the only question that matters. Is it a gift worthy of a king? Because when we come here, we don't come to see some governor of the state or mayor or president. No, we're coming here, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And so our gift, every time we come in the presence of God, should be a gift worthy of a king. Worthy of a king. And that makes me too small because I don't look at myself as giving something that is worthy of a king. But it reminds me that I should excel more, higher than I did last week or last month or last year. As I look into the Word of God, it becomes more clearer. It should challenge our hearts that we should look at those who celebrated the first Christmas. What kind of gift or gifts does wise men bring? That's why they call in tradition they call them 3 kings, and the Bible don't call it 3 kings. It's because of their gifts, royalty gifts. Gold, one of the most expensive metal you can find in the world. People go crazy in gold. People will shoot each other there in Mount Liwalwal, Davao, Mindanao, because of glittering gold, little piece. Jesus received this gift of gold. People will come and say, that is a representative of his deity. That this boy, born that morning, is divine. You see, gold you cannot change. You can put it in the mud, take it out, it's still gold. You can burn it in a fire, it'll still be gold. You cannot change it. And that is the the identity of Jesus. He is divine. You cannot change it. You can wrap him in swaddling clothes. He can become a little boy, but he's still divine, 100% God. That's this picture of gold. It speaks of his divinity. It speaks of unchanging nature and character. He's the only one who has that in the universe. Frankincense is a very expensive aromatic spice. Even today, when Saudi royalty, they show in the television news sometimes when they receive their guests like President Trump or Obama or some dignitaries, they burn frankincense. And they do like this because it is a sweet aromatic flavor, or you call it that way. It permeates the air. It changes the atmosphere around. And that speaks of the glory of Jesus, his beauty. Whenever Jesus is, he changes things around him. And that's why when you have Jesus in your life cannot help but be changed. If your life is stinky as mine, it can be so sweet as a frankincense. Frankincense. That speaks of his beauty, his character, his nature as a sweet Lord God and Savior. Do you have Jesus?
Amen.
Would you like to make your life sweeter? Well, you have to have more of Jesus. He is the frankincense of God. And myrrh, another spice. No doubt frankincense is expensive. Gold is expensive. What about myrrh? Well, myrrh, they say, this is the one they use to bury the dead. When they prepare the body for burial, they use this spice. And again, it must be expensive because brought by this wise man. And not everybody can afford to buy expensive spices for burial. Just like perfume. Not everybody can buy the same sort of perfume. There's all kinds of perfume out there, but not everybody can afford to this many expensive ones. So these three gifts that they gave, these three wise men gave to Jesus, is they are representative of who this boy is. That he is king. That he is not just an ordinary little boy wrapped on ordinary human garments, but that he is divine in his nature. Just like gold, you can wrap it in a panyo, like this one. You can wrap it in a, what we call Bisaya kacha, rag, but it doesn't change the value of the gold. It's still gold. If it's 24K, it's still 24K. That's what Jesus is. He can appear to you as an ordinary man, tired, bleeding and sleepy and all of that, but still he is God, divine. And one day, of course, he brought into this world peace and joy, changing the lives of people he touched from a life of sin into the life of holiness, ugliness into beauty. That's what frankincense can do. An ordinary room can be changed and transformed into a sweet place to commune when you have frankincense. That's what Jesus does when he communes in the hearts and the mind of people. And myrrh, of course, ultimately that little baby, 33 years later, climbed the cross and paid for all the sins of man, including yours and mine. Symbolic of the gift of myrrh. So these are what we call valuable gifts. Gifts that has real value, measurable value. Then we have what we call invaluable gifts. I call it priceless gifts. Because these are gifts that you cannot put a price tag on it. You know what you have, all those gifts that you have wrapped, there were a price tag on them. But those are valuable gifts, they have value. This one is invaluable gifts. This category of gifts is that you cannot put a price on it. And these are Christmas gifts. On the first Christmas, you have mentions of this priceless gift. For example, the angel says, peace on earth. Peace on earth. How much would you like to pay for peace? What can you put as a tag price for peace? Do you know that the U.S. government spends billions of dollars just to try to get some kind of peace out there in the Middle East, in some parts of the troubled world, trying to maintain peace? Costly. Oh, has a price. And it is trying to bring peace in the place called Afghanistan for the last 12 years. It cost the U.S. over $1 trillion already. Wow. Oh, but still it can be measured. But you know, the Christmas kind of peace, the gift of peace in Christmas, has no value. Because the peace that was announced, given by those angels to the shepherds, peace on earth, that has no boundary. You can't even pay for it. It's simply given to those who long for it. Do you know that when I was in the hospital, I learned a lot. You know, when I was there for 3 days, I learned a lot. My next curtain neighbor, I overheard him say to his nurse, I just want to go home and die. She said, no, don't say that. I don't know why he said that. But from what I heard during their, I guess they're talking about the bill in the hospital, he mentioned about having a company. Well, if you have a company, you know, most people who owns a company got money. And the thing about him is that also he has nobody who visited him. No one came to visit him. And my daughter heard about it, so they prepared a little something, my wife and her, because they transferred him to another room, because he caused a lot of trouble in my room together. So he moved him. But anyway, my wife and daughter asked, where is the man that was here before? Oh, we moved him there because he's making a lot of trouble with your dad, you know. So yeah, I'm not really big trouble, except that he's spreading his poo all over the place. Not really that bad. But anyway, they went to see him and give him something to make him know, even though he has no family, somebody will care for him. Do you know that it's also a gift? Amen. Life is a gift, but to him, I just want to go home and die. He is probably frustrated about life. And a hospital can be a very frustrating place, although I enjoy it there. I'd rather be there than home sometimes. But of course, I like to be home. Joy. It says there, really what? The angel said, glad tidings of joy. How much can you pay for joy? And yet, that's what those two, peace and joy, were two of the things that were mentioned as given by God. You see, remember again, a gift is something that is not yours. Something that is not yours but is given to you. And that's what the angel says. This boy brings peace on earth. This boy will bring joy to all the people. Wow! What kind of item out there that you can purchase, that you can give peace to people when you give it? What kind of gadget out there you can buy that can make people joyful? Oh, I'm sure they can be joyful. There's always an exciting time to open that gift. But how long does it last? What else was given that Christmas as part of Christmas gift? Revelation. Angels gave this knowledge of the birth of this boy of peace and boy of joy. Angels didn't know that. They have no knowledge. Shepherds have no knowledge of that. But it was given to them. Not everybody knew it. The whole Jerusalem, the city, the villages, the towns, no one knew.